Yeah, and then
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
thanks, everyone, and welcome to a regular meeting of the Goldendale City Council for March 2nd. Shelley, would you please take roll call?
Steve Johnston,
He's here.
Neil Miller,
Here.
Lauren Meager,
Here.
Brian Paul,
Here.
Andy Holmes,
Here.
Danielle Covenant,
Here.
Nathaniel Hill.
Here. Okay, great. We have a full, yeah, we have a full council. We'll move on to the next agenda item, and that's closed public comment. Is there anyone here or on the line that would like to make a public comment on agenda topics? Anybody have their hand up on the line?
Nope.
No? Okay, great. Well, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. And we do have a public hearing today. The public hearing is for North Columbus speed limit. The ordinance committee gave a recommendation to the council to change the speed limit on North Columbus from the bridge overpass on the Little Klickitat River to the north city limits. The council gave consensus to have a public hearing regarding changing the speed limit from 30 to 25 miles per hour. So with that, I'll open up the public hearing. Is there any members of the public that would like to address the speed limit change on North Columbus? Give anybody a chance online to raise their hand?
No.
Nobody? And nobody in the audience would like to come up? Okay. Hearing no public comment on the public hearing for the North Columbus speed limit. With that, I'll close the public hearing. And we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. And that's approval of the agenda and the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda and the agenda as presented.
Second.
And there's a motion and a second to approve the agenda and the consent agenda. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda, and that'll be department reports. And we'll start over here with City Administrator Sandy Wells.
At our next council meeting, we'll have the 5G tower presentation for the gentleman that had sent Fiona a message. We'll also have a fourth quarter budget update from Sarah. And then this week, we have a meeting with Fawcett about the critical areas ordinance update and where he's at with that process. So he's getting closer to wrapping that up, so.
And after we have that meeting on Thursday, we'll keep you up to date on all the progress as we go on that critical areas ordinance. Yeah.
That's all I have.
So thank you, Sandy. Fire Chief Noah Holm.
I don't have anything, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. Police Chief.
Okay, Mayor. Yeah, in February, we had 207 calls for service and with 6 arrests. We've had 1 arrest for theft, 2 warrants, 1 disorderly, 1 trespassing, and 1 traffic related arrest. And so it's about 7.5 calls a day for service that we've been doing. So we're still moving right along. We did get a candidate, tentative hire. He's going through the background right now. So we passed all the background stuff. We'll have our new hire for the cops grant position. So
That's great. Thanks, Chief. I just had one item. I wanted to get a budget committee meeting scheduled here. We've had a request from one of our tenants in the incubator building that would impact the budget. I'd like the budget committee to look over that and present a recommendation to the council for the next meeting. So the budget committee is Nathaniel, Andy, and Theone. Whatever's good for you three. I'd like to get something scheduled if we can't deny it. You guys have any openings this week that we could do that, or next week?
Yeah, anytime this week works good for me after 4:30.
What about you, Andy?
This
You know,
week I've already got all filled up on my evenings.
next week, you got something open?
Yeah, I can,
Monday,
Monday works for me as well.
Monday evening,
Monday the 9th, at what time?
6.
How's
Pam,
that?
can you do Monday the 9th at 6?
I can do Monday the 9th at 6.
Okay, great.
And then the packet will be in your box.
Okay.
Monday, March 9th at 6 PM. Okay. Great, thanks, everyone. Okay, well, now we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, and that's council business. H1, the first item is the municipal employees union contract. City staff and union representatives have completed negotiations on a collective bargaining agreement with municipal employees. The agreement covers the years 2026 to 2028. Attached are the red line version and the final agreement. And I'll go ahead and hand that over to the council to look over if you have any questions, or if someone would like to make a motion.
Tony Mickey's online.
Okay, Tony, thanks for joining us. Did you have anything you'd like to add to that, Tony?
Sure, just briefly, as you know, in the fall, we had a couple of executive sessions with the council in order to obtain preliminary guidelines for negotiations with the AFSCME bargaining unit. AFSCME is an acronym. It's the AFL-CIO for municipal workers in the state of Washington. And they have represented your public works employees, municipal employees, both City Hall and Public Works, for at least 3 decades that I'm aware of. So we've had a long-standing relationship with them. It's been very positive, very progressive. And so the guidelines that we ended up resolving the agreement on a tentative basis on are set forth in your what's called a track changes version of the labor agreement. So for 2026, it calls for a 3%. 2027, it calls for a 2%, and a 2% also in 2028, which are relatively conservative numbers. The management had some administrative solutions to provide in a new pay plan that we came up with approximately 2.5, 3 years ago. And there were some matters that needed to be resolved with regard to equity movements, like from one step to the other, where employees who progressed could have ended up with a wage configuration based on the original pay plan, which was provided by the former city administrator, would have ended up with employees taking a cut in pay going from one position to a promotional position. So we've resolved that. We did make it crystal clear that the calculations are to be determined by the city administrator, and that all those calculations are not subject to any grievance procedure, which means that the union cannot litigate the issue of wage increases, the calculation thereof, and the progression. So with all due respect to all of you, I would respectfully recommend that you support the previously authorized guidelines from the prior council, which was the basis for our tentative agreement.
Thank you, Tony.
I move to authorize the mayor to execute the 2026 to 2028 collective bargaining agreement with the Washington State Council of County and city employees representing our municipal employees.
Second.
A second, yeah. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great, thanks, everyone. The motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Tony. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to the next item on the agenda. And that's the Uniformed Officers Union Contract for 2025 to 2027. City staff and union representatives have completed negotiations on a collective bargaining agreement with uniformed officers. The agreement covers years 2025 to 2027. Attached to the same, we have the red line versions and the final agreement. And I'll hand the rest off to Tony. Did you have anything more to say about this one, Tony?
Sure, I just wanted to clarify for the council members, based on the prior executive sessions that we had and the approval of guidelines, we've actually met those guidelines. Mike, your police chief, and Sandy were very, very helpful, and the mayor was very, very helpful in our bargaining. We had a unique situation where a competing union came in and sought the representation of your police officers. That's the FOP, Fraternal Order of Police. They followed the legal process before the Public Employment Relations Commission for representation purposes. Basically, they filed a petition for representation. It was properly processed by PERC, the Public Employment Relations Commission, and ultimately the police officers ended up being represented by the FOP. And those discussions and those negotiations were non-confrontational. They were very productive. The one aspect of this that you might ask yourselves why is that the law, when a new bargaining rep establishes representation, the law in the state of Washington is, unless the parties executed a Christie agreement, which the union must ask for in the beginning, if they do not execute a Christie agreement, there is no retro. So the union asked late in the ball game in late 25, August of 2025, and we proceeded with a Christie agreement. But the important point for you is that the first increase of 6% does not go into effect until after August 20th of 2025. So that's a very important consideration, simply because if you do the analysis fiscally on this, more than half of the year went by. So a 6% increase equates to roughly a 3% for the entire year. Your police officers were approximately 4% behind the average of the comparables. And the police officers have access to a process, a labor law process called interest arbitration. It's a binding process like a formal trial, but it's in a labor law realm where you match up with your comparables. And if you're at the average, approximately the average of the comparables, you will end up being responsible for a minimum of a cost of living. But if you are below the 50% level in interest arbitration, the arbitrator can award either a makeup, if you want to call it that, or a market adjustment. So the settlement is within the parameters of what the council and executive session authorized, and that would be a 6% after August 20th of 2025, a 5% 2026, and a 4% in 2027. Again, the same protective mechanisms are in place, where the determinations as far as the calculations are concerned are determined exclusively by the employer and are not subject to the grievance process. So the union cannot challenge the calculations of the administration in the city in that regard. So I would respectfully ask you to please confirm this and authorize the mayor to sign and Sandy to sign.
Yes, sir.
I have one question. What is a Christie agreement?
Christie agreement is an agreement that if it were executed the day after the union was recognized by the Public Employment Relations Commission. It is strictly dependent on the union making the proposal. The Christie Agreement is a statement by the electeds, that would be you, that the bargaining that goes on is subject to the potential of a retroactive pay increase. If that Christie Agreement is not established and not executed, then there is no retroactivity until a Christie Agreement is executed. And that didn't happen until August, so
Understand, thank you.
thank you. Good question.
Yes, Lauren.
This agreement doesn't affect the employment compensation for the chief, right? This is just for the PD staff.
Yes, sir. It's just for the police officers.
Union,
And then there were some discrepancies between the track changes version and the final version. I just saw discrepancies in the, like some corrections and grammatical spelling, grammar and spelling. But there aren't any other changes that would be between those two, are there?
No, there shouldn't be. Actually, what happens is the track changes is the document that we shared with the bargaining unit. So the track changes would be accepted. The only thing that would change is what you picked up on. There may be some grammatical problems and there may be some spacing issues, but there shouldn't be any substantive issues.
Okay. I move to authorize the mayor to execute a 2025 to 2027 collective bargaining agreement between the city of Goldendale and the Goldendale Police Officers Association.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? A motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Tony, for joining us.
You're welcome, and thank you for your patience. It took a while, but we got there.
We got there. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, as always.
All right, thank you very much. Would you like me to sign off, or
Yep, we're all done with you.
you're all done with me? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony.
Have a great evening.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, good night.
Good night. Okay, well, then we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, and that's resolutions. We have resolution number 751, the tourism funding. At the last council meeting, the council approved the tourism recommendations made by the tourism committee. And this is just a resolution to approve the spending of that money.
I move to approve resolution 751, authorizing the funding for tourism events for 2026 in the amount of $100,900.
I second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or questions? Yes, Steve.
I normally vote no on this, as you all know, I have some time. And I'm gonna vote no again tonight, but I'm gonna take this opportunity to reiterate why I choose to vote no. Because I feel there is one organization included here in this that has an obvious sexually oriented platform and narrative masquerading as a tourist activity. Now, I have no concern with any adult's choice of sexual preferences or identity, but I do believe these issues belong in the bedroom, not exhibited in the public square. Most importantly, when children and minors can be exposed to this type of sexual ideology. Relevant to this, I want to applaud the Fort Vancouver Library's latest efforts to curtail the LGBT material being pushed into our libraries. And it's on these grounds that I won't endorse using public funds or taxpayer monies to support and promote this type of, or any kind of sexual narrative or ideology. Now, we can either bend our knees to the radical left extremist and one-party regime and their minions, or stand up for traditional American values and morals. With that, I give the floor back to the mayor.
So I have a question for Mr. Johnson. Do you believe in the Constitution?
Well, absolutely.
Freedom of speech, freedom of expression? Okay, obviously you don't.
I also believe there are consequences to the things we say and do, and
Okay.
responsibilities.
Yep.
Thanks. And then anybody else like to make a statement or have a question? Anybody else that has already spoken like to elaborate?
Nope, not gonna waste my time.
Okay. Okay, with that, we have a motion and a second. I'll go ahead and call for a vote now. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay, that's 5 ayes and 2 nays. Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the next item, and that's ordinances. We have ordinance number 1552 to change the speed limit on North Columbus. We just had the public hearing on this. The ordinance committee gave a recommendation to the council to change the speed limit on North Columbus from the bridge overpass on the Little Clickitat River to north city limits. The council gave consensus for the change at the February 2nd council meeting, and there was a public hearing earlier today. Hand that off to the council if anybody would like to have any questions or talk about it more or make a motion.
I move to adopt ordinance number 1552, amending section 10.12.020 of the Goldendale Municipal Code designated streets.
Second.
Okay, now I did notice, I'd like to mention that there are 2 different motions you have the option of doing. One of them is the motion that you just made. The other option is to waive the second reading, and that's entirely up to you.
It's my personal preference that people have multiple opportunities to come in and speak, so when I hear complaints.
Understood.
there's 2 chances.
So the motion is the first motion to adopt ordinance 1552. And we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. And so we'll bring that back to the council for the second reading at the next council meeting, correct, Sandy?
Yep.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. Well, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda then. And that is report of officers. And we'll start over on this side with Nathaniel Hill.
No report.
No report. Okay, thanks, Nathaniel. Danielle Clevidence.
Well, I just want to say thanks to the ordinance, people, the ordinance board. That was a pretty good meeting, I thought, for it being only the second one I've been to. I
Yeah.
feel like we got a lot covered. I hope it continues that way. I'm sure it will. The only other thing I want to bring up is on May 2nd, the citywide cleanup. So start getting your stuff together if you are wanting to put it out on the curb on May 2nd for the citywide cleanup, or if you need help or anything, or neighbors need help, please let me know.
And that's still the Goldendale Community Enrichment Group that's sponsoring that?
They're sponsoring it in partnership with Public Services and the county.
Great, great. Thank you, Danielle. Anything else?
No?
Thanks. Andy Holmes.
Oh, welcome back.
Oh, thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back, Dave. All I have is the next meeting. I will not be here for medical reasons.
Okay, thank you, Andy. We'll mark that down. Perfect. Brian, Paul. Nothing at this time. Thank you, sir. Lauren, make it.
Nothing this time.
Thanks. Theo and Wheeler, did you have a report?
No report at this time. Thank you.
Okay,
It's good to
thanks.
have you back, Dave.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Steve Johnston.
Welcome back.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Like beard.
Thanks. Thanks.
I'd just like to know when we're gonna pin down our comprehensive park plan.
Yes, I hope to be getting that to the council at the next meeting. I've communicated with one of our partners at the county and Park and Rec District, Lori Anderson, about finishing up that SEPA. Seems like it's gonna be a pretty easy process to get that through. And other than that, we'll bring that to the council. We'll have a public hearing, much like we did today, and we should be able to get that finalized. It's the plan is done. We just have to tie up a few red tape loose ends there, but I'm shooting for the next meeting to have that wrapped up.
That's good. Sooner the better.
Yeah.
Tell the trims on it, it's not done.
Yes, yeah,
As
exactly.
simple as that. It's not
Exactly.
official. And shortly after that, I'll probably be requesting some public works meetings to address some of our wish lists.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks, Steve. Well, yeah, and concerning the parks, we at the next city council meeting, we'll be doing a little presentation on some plans for World War II Park. We received a gift of funding, much like we did a couple years ago when the Cypress Creek Solar Company donated money for playground equipment down at Oconee Park. This time they had a community working group, and the consensus was for them to pay to have the tennis courts at the World War II Park, which are in bad condition and don't get used at all. They're gonna pay to have those resurfaced and geared more towards pickleball, which has been a real popular thing. So look forward to it. The next meeting. We'll have a presentation to fill you in on that. And yes, Lauren.
I just, when that's resurfaced, I wanna make sure that we have appropriate security and rules associated with that, so that people aren't launching off fireworks.
Yes.
In the surface, finishing the pad, we don't wanna see that continue.
Very good point. Thank you. Thank you. And then, so yeah, we'll look forward to that at the next meeting. And, other than that, I just wanted to thank everyone here and in the community for the prayers and well wishes while I was out on medical leave recently. Thanks to the city staff, the department heads, and the rest of the staff for keeping me up to date on everything going on with phone calls and Zoom meetings and emails. Really kept me in the loop while I wasn't able to make it in the office. I appreciate that. And thanks to all the council members who reached out, including our Mayor Pro Tem Danielle Clevidence, for filling in for me on my duties when I couldn't be here. I really appreciate it. Everybody kept the city running without me just fine. And thanks for doing the radio talk show. I don't know if you guys know, once a month I do a talk show radio interview, and I wasn't able to make it to the last one, so I talked Danielle into doing the live radio talk show, and she just did a great job. Sounded great on there. She has a radio voice, I'll tell you. Anyway,
Does that fall on the same date as all your future physical therapy?
if you ever want to listen to that, they play that on the radio on the first Thursday of the month at 8 a.m. And it's a nice talk show to have, and it's nice to have guests come in sometimes, and Danielle did a good job answering those questions. Anyways, and thanks to this wonderful community and everybody for the prayers. And, I just wanted to let you know that I really appreciate it, and God is good all the time. So thanks, everyone. And that's all I had. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, public comment. Sorry. I know we have lots of public that would like to make a public comment. Is there anybody here or on the line that would like to make a public comment? Roger, yes, thank you. Please state your name and area of residence, please.
Well, it's Roger Nichols calling from the Dells, that place south of where the people are. And I have a couple of comments. One, Danielle, are you available for commercial work on the station? Maybe later we'll talk about that. Dave, you're rocking that beard. I mean, you're looking really fabulous in that. And the other thing is, you need to update the website, which still lists the old city council members on it, and also announces that you won't have a meeting on the 17th. That's all I had. And congratulations to, and I did one more quick check, and that is, I think the second nay on that one vote, was that Mr. Paul, or I wasn't sure.
Lauren. On the tours and dollars,
Yeah.
Lauren and Steve were the two names.
Lauren, okay, thank you. I want to get that attributed properly. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
Thanks, you too, Roger.
Is there anybody else on the line that would like to make a public comment or here in person?
Nancy?
Okay. Nobody else has their hand up that I can't see, do they? Okay. We'll go ahead and close public comment then, and now I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to adjourn. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everyone.
Danny?
Meeting